stage before.
Thundercrap.
So, I couldn't figure out exactly what title I wanted to have for this program, but I decided California Dreaming was appropriate. And, I'm ENT Snyder. I'm the founder of Julian Natural History, and we also have a scientific library if anyone wants to come up to Julian and use our resources.
Woo!
I'm a former underground miner with the San Diego Mining Company. I got to explore all kinds of lithium-bearing pegmatites around the county. I'm on my second term of Chamber of Commerce, and my current job is resource supervision, just making sure the county's resources and fire remediation and such. Tonight I wanted to touch base on some of our history and what makes this county so special. I've explored California extensively for all kinds of minerals. It's a beautiful state. It's the best state in my opinion. And this is Jade Cove. You need to get there very early. People are ready. They're on the Jade. They really like it. And it's honestly better probably to dive for the Jade. Here's my wife at the top of Mount Williamson. It's quite a geological masterpiece, our state. So around 15,000 years ago, natives settled in California. There was about 90 tribes in California when the Europeans landed, and they would do these, and my heart goes out to everyone affected by fire, so I wanted to touch on the natives would actually have prescribed burns, and they would be able to manage the fuel and all the pests. And here's a beautiful oak tree. And this is actually natives in Florida. And so one of our tribes around here was the Kumeyaay people. They were right by the ocean down here, and they would migrate up and down from the mountains. And I really like this embossed, beautiful piece of art. And here's a reed house by Campo. Yeah, the last native was in northern, his last native was Ishi, and they didn't find him forever. So the natives were able to live in, and then they were forced into reservation, which have some of the best gems right now. So if you're a tribal member, you might get lucky. Here's an acorn weevil. I took this photo. That's on a pea for scale. And these were one of the species that would be managed through these prescribed burns and the fuel reduction. So California was named after a mythological island, Califia. It was an island of women, and it was covered in gold. So people would be looking for this mythological island of gold. And that's where California got its name. Hernan Cortez, the Sea of Cortez is named after him. He basically mapped out Baja, and he was looking for this island of gold. So in 1542, Cabrillo landed in San Diego Bay, which it used to be called San Miguel. And that's where San Diego started with the European history. Here's a picture of Cabrillo. I really like that stamp. I figured that was pretty neat. In 1602, Vizcaino renamed our county, or the town, or the city, San Diego. And that's where San Diego came from. He mapped out this whole area. They still thought California was an island. But he sailed all the way up to Monterey. And it wasn't until 1746 that they realized that California was part of the continent of the United States. In the right at the late 1600s, there was all the missionaries. The first mission is in San Diego. You can go visit. It's right in Old Town. And there was 21 missions. And they would be able to take the El Camino Real missionary walk, and it was approximately 20 miles between each mission. And they went up all the way to San Francisco. I really like visiting all of them. It's just really fun. It's something to do, and it's great history. We have the oldest state in the United States.
How many missions were there totally?
There's 21.
21.
21 actual missions.
Did some of them go into Mexico? There's like even more?
Yeah, there is missions in Mexico, but we had 21 California missions. There was sub-missions, like Pala actually has a mission, and it has pegmatite in the walls of the mission, but it's not a true mission. It's like a sub-mission. But yeah, this is over there, San Luis Rey. I really like visiting. Here's the Paula Bell. This one is, I believe, San Juan Bautista up towards San Francisco. Here's my beautiful wife, Mercedes. So right around 1848, California becomes a state, and there's a California gold rush. Started around Sutter's Mill. There was all these, Julian was part of the gold rush, but that wasn't until the 1860s when their technology had gotten better, where they could take a lesser deposit of gold and make it worth smashing up and finding the gold out of the ore. So in 1869, a former slave, Fred Coleman, he jumped off his horse, and he had been up in the 49er up north in Northern California, but he gets off his horse in Wynola, California, which is right outside of Julian, and he finds gold. And that's how Julian got started. So we have really rich history in this county, and I wanted to show everyone. And as a Chamber of Commerce, I wanted to advertise. 150 years of mining. Oh, and I wanted to say what an honor it is. This club is one of the oldest societies in the United States. 90 years. That's pretty.
Wow.
It's an honor to be here. This is part of the Coleman Mining District. So the primary time period of the tourmaline, the lithium pegmatite mining, is in the early 1900s. And this empress was financing a lot of the mines. Over 100 tons of rubellite tourmaline came out of the mines in this time period. And she also was financing gold mining in Julian. But she was borrowing money from England to pay her bills in China. So this lady was buried with a rubellite pillow from Paula. It was pretty amazing. So that she was using money from all over the world to finance the big mines around here. And I think that's an interesting piece of history. The Stewart did hit a bunch of tourmaline later on in the late 40s, but this was the major time period. And we have beaches named Tourmaline Beach, we have roads named after various gems and minerals. J.P. Morgan was also somebody that was financing the mines in this area, and hence we have the name Morganite after the beautiful pink and peach barrels that we have in this county. And those are some of the things that seduced me, that moving down here and ripping apart my life to live in San Diego County. And the blue cap tourmalines, especially the 72 pocket. So here's some gold from Julian. We have this on display at the museum. Well, what happens is they're smashing the Julian schist, so it becomes flour, which actually will float on the surface unless you use some soap or something to have the gold. So this was all smashed up. So you don't get nuggets, you get flour gold that's in this matrix, and it takes a lot of work. It wasn't worth them going forward with the mine with the low percentage of gold in the ore. So that's why we don't have mining, and red tape obviously. So that's why we don't have mining right now in Julian. Maybe there's little hobby holes, but nothing, no major production.
What about the Stonewall Jackson mine? Is that produced,
Yeah, they all produced a lot of money, millions of dollars, you know. But it was the production for the work and the effort. It wasn't worth it long term for.
They'd only known gold was going to $2,600.
Well, that's based on people printing money. So this exquisite tourmaline is featured in the Smithsonian. So this is called the Steamboat tourmaline, and this is from the Tourmaline King Mine. And all these specimens up here are from the Tourmaline King Mine. This is on Queen Mountain. So you have the Tourmaline Queen Mountain, and you have the Tourmaline King, and there's a couple other mines. But yeah, this thing is just incredible, and I really recommend going to the big gem shows, because especially the Tucson gem show, they'll have some of these monster specimens featured. There was one year I was at Tucson, they had a lightning bolt gold nugget, shape of a lightning bolt, but they'll bring in a featured specimen every year, one, and they'll have a security guard with guns like sitting there. So I got to see the rabbit ears tourmaline specimen that was found in the 72 pocket. So I really recommend going to these major gem shows. But yeah, if you want to see this, you have to go to the Smithsonian.
How big is that?
It's a monster.
I think I've seen
This is probably approximately this size. Because here's a quartz from the same exact mine. So it's right around that size. This is where I hit my first pocket, and if you have an opportunity to visit Hallelujah Junction, they're famous for their scepters. They have sceptered amethyst quartz, where it's a smoky with on top of it. There's another quartz, and there's amethyst, and they look like actual scepters. There's one that they called the Lance. It was about this long. And there's public digging, and there's private. There's both public and private digging, and it's right on the California-Nevada border. It's very desolate, so bring supplies, but you can camp there. And my second day, we were bribing this guy with chicken sausages, and that's how we maybe a few beers. And yeah. That's how I showed up at my first dig in my fancy clothes. But we hit pocket. My second day, I dug and I dug and I dug, and I knew I'd find one, and that's where I hit my first pocket. I was still had hair back then. Me and my brother spent about a year mapping out different ideas of where we're gonna make money in the mining industry. And we had explored different options like moving to Alaska or Greenland. I almost got financed to live in Greenland, and then Denmark pulled out. There's major ruby deposits there. At some point, I was buying a lot of tourmaline and morganite from this county, and I showed up after a gem show, and I met the guys that own San Diego Mining Company, and they offered us a partnership. All we had to do was buy some equipment. So I tore up my whole life, bought some equipment, and moved down here. And it led to a divorce, but we found gems, so it's cool. It was quite a wild ride. But look at what the opportunities. This is from Paula. We bought and sold this ring. It's beautiful. Look at that vibrant rubellite tourmaline. I could not resist moving down here with the opportunity to own a mine, be part owner of a mine. It was worth having a tourmaline dream. So this is my favorite mine, gem mine in the county. It's called the Carmelita mine, and it's probably the only gem mine I would go back working at or buy it. I'm definitely trying to buy this mine. And this is a vibrant indicolite tourmaline. So this is from the first pocket of tourmaline I was able to be part of finding. So when you find blues right away, you get kind of hooked. These are some of the rarest tourmaline. You get rubellite's a dime a dozen. Blue tourmaline, ice blue is very, very rare. So this is when I was young. I was Thanks, Lisa.
Fresh cut.
So not only do I like mining, I like the whole industry. I like going to the gem shows. I like visiting the society. So in my opinion, this is a better blue than the blue tourmaline or the blue topaz in the LA Natural History Museum. I bought and sold this piece 5 times and made money every single time. It was just a beautiful crystal found right in Ramona. I couldn't believe it. 5 times I was like, this is ridiculous.
So where is it now?
It's in a private collection.
Yours?
No.
Number 6?
No, I invested extensively in egg replicas. It didn't really work out. It's a beautiful looking collection though. But yeah, I know where it is. It's in Hollywood. In a part that didn't burn down yet. So, wow. I didn't mean it in a bad way.
No, we're looking at the.
You got some laughs with that.
So yeah. I went. This is Scott Ritchie. And some of you may know him. He's a nice guy if you know him the right way. But he taught me how to mine, and he gave me all my mining safety. I went to school for mining safety and engineering. Like, it's very dangerous to work underground. People always want to go to mines and find pockets, but you're using explosives. Rocks are falling on your head. It's not all like dancing around and finding crystals. It's very dangerous. And this guy was really humorous. He would send me all these crazy videos of miners trapped and just a ridiculous education. But you can see how we're setting charges, and you set charges in a spiraling pattern so that one goes off and then they stack on top of each other, because you don't want to blast crystals, you don't wanna blast into the pocket, you wanna blast next to a pocket and then get into the pockets and try to leave the crystals intact. So there's a whole science behind it, and following the actual pegmatite, the lithiodike, you wanna be very careful. So there's a whole process behind where you're making a decision where to put in drill holes. And you're using a jackleg drill, and you need 2 large men usually to run a jackleg drill. You get a 3-foot bit, or you can 5-foot bit depending. I like shorter bits, just you have more control. But it's blasting out water, and you're drilling in to set these charges.
Those little weight dots, is that where the charges are set, or the holes are drilled, or what is those?
That's the connector to the wire, and then
Oh.
there's a charge.
Okay.
And you put clay over the charge in there so the concussion blasts in. There's a whole science behind mining. And a lot of times people are like, oh, you're in the pocket zone, can I come? And you're thinking, it's dangerous. You're underground, you're like hundreds of feet underground. And unless you have a little bit of education, it's probably better not to be underground. But you can definitely read about it, or it's interesting. Here's another beautiful, this is more teal, but this came from a pocket in Warner Springs.
How deep are we talking with like that basket?
These pockets, I think we did about 50 or 60 feet, and those guys wanted to focus their energy and their finances on digging at the King Mine. So this is pretty much surface mining, and a lot of what you do is you engineer a mine. You wanna dig in from the bottom so the rocks come down. So you're doing an engineering project, which is multi-years. It can take 10 longer years because you want to dig into the zone where you have the longest lasting ability to dig underneath the dike. So there's a whole engineering plan you want to go through. And the scientists will tell you one thing.
How do you, when you say you're digging underneath the dike, how do you know which way the dike's gonna go? I mean, I've seen different kind of things, and
Right, it'll scissor.
yeah, it kind of splits, so how do you, who's making the determination? Or are you just doing it by section, small section, like foot by foot and chasing it? Or do you kind of, is it an educated guess, or are you saying, this is the way the flow was going and it looks like it's gonna go up that line? You see, like, you see a fracture?
So you're gonna make an educated decision on
Okay.
the longest lasting way of the project. And then based on the geology of the
Right,
hill, then you're gonna try to go up underneath it, and sometimes the dike will peter out. Like that's what kinda happened at the Ware mine and stuff, the dike just pinches out.
Right.
So you're looking for the fluid flowing through it. Or you have to chase it, it broke off with tectonics, so you
Right.
gotta chase it underneath. So that's a complicated question.
so it's a little bit of luck involved, would you say?
Yeah, a lot of luck. Mapping helps,
Yeah.
but you're looking at different mineralization, because you can see the lepidolite and the lithium and the clevelandites and the beryllium, so you can kind of see it, and you can kind of see the flow of it if you're underneath it.
Okay.
Honestly, the best thing to do is chase the lepidolite and look for color. That is like really you just want to chase the lepidolite, look for the black tourmaline, and hope the black tourmaline changes color.
Interesting.
So, and you're more than welcome to contact me anytime. I have all these books you can read too. But yeah, just chase lepidolite and look for the shoal. That's kind of the rough
The shore?
draft of it.
Okay.
Unless you're doing like a long time engineering plan, which costs millions of dollars.
Yeah, I got that kind of,
That's where it gets a little complicated.
don't have the time or the money.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, rounds of this is thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Especially
what
with
that
all the
gonna
red
last?
tape and the years of planning, and you have to deal with the ATF, and, I mean, this is explosive.
Yeah. Do you have to be licensed for that too?
Yes, Scott is a licensed blaster, one of the last ones left. But he's really good at engineering, and my brother is really good at finding pockets. So they're a great team.
Thank you.
Of course. That's what I'm here for. So, I like to add gold. I like gold. This is gold and platinum. If you can see the little platinum, that is from Platina in Northern California. That's Spanish for platinum. So that was a fun place to go. And this is a California nugget.
Found on surface?
No, this was found underground. So this is the kind of stuff we had to deal with when I moved down here. My yard was on fire. It was a little bit different. I was used to living in Humboldt County where it was a rainforest. So I wasn't used to all this. But this is actually my yard in Awanga. So I had to get a selfie with the baby. So this is my oldest son. This is at Myrtle Beach. We're finding shark teeth. That's really fun if you get a chance to go look for megs and shark teeth and whatnot. This is just right on the beach. You just walk.
What son? Yeah.
Oldest son. These pictures are from Lost Valley. We hit there's a good beryllium pocket. I don't know what they named the mine right now. They've been chasing pockets there. I don't think they've hit anything significant. This is a long time ago. But this is a beautiful epitheliodore I found. I was so excited. This sold, I was at the mine and it sold. So it's in a private collection. But here's an aqua I found in that pocket. We have an incredibly rich county. But yeah, that was pretty fun. I was pretty proud of that. But yeah, that mine is, I think they're still digging there, but I just don't know the name of it now. It used to be called the Golden Goose or something. I used to hang out with the Himalayan mine people.
Right.
I'm a
Rose?
big fan of acrolite tourmaline. So this facet, this was a huge facet. This is like a clear tourmaline to a red. I couldn't resist but have that in my collection. And this is a watermelon I found one night at the Himalayan mine.
Was that all from the tailings?
No, this is underground.
You went, oh, lucky.
I mean, I heard it's for sale if you want to get lucky.
Oh,
Why is there a My Little Pony right there?
You know I like to play with My Little Pony. Look, you see the diamond? What's its name?
Rarity.
It's my mascot back then.
It's back in the sun. The crystal collector.
Whoa.
Here's some beautiful tourmaline from the Stewart mine, another mine I get the privilege of digging at, I guess. This is a bicolor. We had Meg Berry cut this piece in particular. It came out pretty nice. She's like one of our famous facetors of our county, Meg. She has stuff in the Smithsonian as well. She worked on some pirate emeralds.
Do you have the after of that?
Or
I don't. I sold it to my buddy,
You
and
didn't take a picture of it?
no,
No.
I probably should have taken more photos. I was having way too much fun. So, but yeah, that's a good picture though. You can see more facet grade tourmaline. Facet grade tourmaline is probably 1 to 2% of your pocket yield, so it's extremely rare.
Does the pink one just glow because it's in the sun, or does it just glow?
I
all
use
the
the
time?
sun to backlight it to show people. I was using the sun to backlight it. But yeah, this is in a photo box. But yeah, 1 to 2% of your pocket yield is going to be facet grade. Facet grade tourmaline or facet grade anything is extremely rare. And you get people wanting your facet grade, and that's 1 to 2% of the whole pocket. You know, it's ridiculous. But it is the best quality stuff. I used to collect what's called nodules. To me, it's like the heart of a tourmaline, where it blasts off around it, and it's left these beautiful spherical parts of the tourmaline, and it's the nodule. And they have the least amount of inclusions. I had blue ones. I had all kinds of colors. But yeah, I should have taken a picture after. I tried to get it back. I did. I tried, and it was sold. So you live and you learn. Here is the diamond mines in Arkansas. So I've traveled all over the United States looking for gems and minerals and fossils. I've been really big into fossils for the last few years. But this place is a great trip if you're out in Arkansas. And if you get skunked at this mine, you can just go over the hill to Mount Ida, which is one of the richest quartz deposits in the world, and you're not going to get skunked. So it's one of those trips where it's less risky. And 1 week in Arkansas is as expensive as 1 day in California. So. Lots of bang for your buck, and the barbecues are good. So I really like this trip. This is one of my favorite trips, is to Arkansas.
You went to Arkansas?
Found a 21 diamond in
Yeah, they do find diamonds, and they're high quality. I have a few in my collection. And along the way, you might run into tornadoes.
nice.
We were taking tornado selfies. My mother was very upset. I mean, you don't get to do that very often, so I figured. This one actually took out a Halliburton factory. It was ridiculous. This was like a 4, I believe. Yeah, so it's just that the whole thing is an adventure. You just get to find cool gems, see tornadoes. So that was another thing I wanted to talk about was when I'm planning these trips, I start in the winter, and I kind of test my wife. I'll see how much I can push it in a year or in a summer. So I'll plan these trips out. I say we're gonna go to Arkansas. We're gonna drive, and we can stop at these hot springs or wherever you want to go. But I want to go mining for diamonds. So as long as you can accept the diamond mining, we can include a few things here and there, and we work out a plan.
Did you do the whole package where you get the pay dirt, bring it home, cook it, sift it, and all that stuff, or you just try to find it in the field?
I did a lot of planning for this, and we had the rebar to look for the. So I planned a little bit, but my friends that have been successful here, they rent the rack, and they'll just bring a bunch of buckets and then sift it at night. But I was having way too much fun messing around with my son, so I wasn't I wasn't like focused on work really. It was like more of just a family outing. But yeah, the people that I know have been successful will they'll sift out a bunch of material and leave it to sift over a day or how many days they want to do it. But they are successful. It's super cool there. This was a really muddy day. I was having a blast, huh? But no diamonds. So here's some pegmatite. This is a pocket. This is the edge of a pocket in the Himalaya mine. And then, this is an old meme I made. I was hungry for tourmaline, so it says breakfast with champion. I was looking for photos for this presentation and I was laughing when I found that one. I kind of agree with the statement. Here's it. So here is like I said, I really love ackroyd. We actually found this sometime in the 2010 era. This is a ackroyd tourmaline with red caps. It was a huge cluster. This was like fist size. It wasn't just a little perky size thing. Really cool specimen. Morganite is my favorite gemstone. So this is a really pale one, but that was a 1 pound morganite. It literally weighed a pound, and it was all terminated from the Palachief mine. That's another mine I heard just for sale.
Is it still open to go on to?
Yeah, they do their dump stakes.
Okay.
If you like fossils, this is right in Santa Barbara. It's like a few hundred yards from the parking lot. Really cool deposit. Fish, big fish fossils. You'll get all kinds of seaweeds and stuff. It's like in a shale. So this is where they dug down the different levels. But you can't miss it. You park in the parking lot and take a right a couple hundred yards and there's a big fossil deposit. Santa Barbara has one of the richest fossils in the whole state.
This one here, and here in the square, is a fish right in front of you.
Oh,
that's for the
this
wagon.
looks like Green River Formation, which is another cool formation if you're ever in Wyoming or Utah. That mine, we've gone up to the Douglas Pass because they have insect fossils. That's really close to there. We found a feather fossil last time we were up there. So that's a little different than the sandstone, where the Douglas Pass formation was covered by volcanic ash, and it was able to preserve insects and invertebrate fossils. I found a spider fossil there one year. Really cool. That's right off the road too.
Are there any restrictions on the Gaviota beach?
You are technically not supposed to
Take pictures.
No, vertebrate fossils are off limits in California. Unfortunately. Florida is one of the most open-minded about vertebrate fossils, and you just file through the Natural History Museum. It's $7 a year, and you can go get invertebrate fossils like mammoth. But yeah, California has restricted vertebrate fossils, because I know where there's a pipefish deposit in this area, and imagine having fossil pipefish. That's super amazing. So yeah, I kind of just like geology and fossils. But right on the beach you'll find whale vertebrate, like just humbled whale vertebrate, right here.
You do any underwater collecting?
Right now I'm big into seashells. Don't get me started. That's a whole.
Yeah.
Baba.
This is my beautiful wife. This is at the Darwin Museum on the 395. The 395 has amazing deposits. There's aquamarine deposits, there's garnet deposits right outside of Bishop. So there's all kinds of hot springs in Mammoth. The 395 is great for traveling. This is my wife at the Fort Drum fossil crystal clam dig. So Eddie Ruck's, his family used to own Ruck's Pit, which has the famous Mercenaria clams with the dogtooth calcites inside. And this is what he has now. He's a character. We had to wrestle his donkey one time. The donkey escaped, jumps over the fence, had these Marines pinned in a truck, and me and my wife had to save the Marines.
That's crazy.
Seriously, they said, we don't know how to deal with a donkey, we know how to kill a donkey. We know how to kill this one, you know? So we're having to like calm the donkey down until Eddie got there to, you know, feed the donkey and get him back in the pen. He was really mad. He took out a tent. That was wild. Mercedes got bit by the donkey. She was like, the rental car. So I had to get the donkey. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Very successful trip though. And even if you don't find stuff in these tailings piles that Eddie has, he'll make sure you have a really good time. So if you're in Florida, Okefenokee Swamp. If you're in the swamp, that guy is a character. We're like, we only have enough to stay for a day. He's like, oh, I have a barbecue. You guys can stay for as long as you want. Super nice guy. These are famous fossil beds. Really fun. And there's dogtooth calcite that's shooting through these clamshells. It's just, you know, one of the kind pretty much in the world. So Julian, that's where I met this guy at this show. This is when Lucas was very young or younger.
What time of year is that usually happening?
They started a whole different show.
Yeah.
And this was in the summer, but it's messing up my bug collecting season. So I'm trying to find somebody to take over this show. There's these huge robber flies in Oklahoma I want to go get. Not my primary focus. But yeah, it's really fun. It's in the town hall. It's all air conditioned, but with the heat in Julian in the summer.
Exactly.
I tried to expand it. It was big, crazy. Now they have one in the spring, but I'm not associated with it other than the Chamber of Commerce.
But there is one that you think is gonna be coming up this year?
March.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's super fun. The people are part of this club that run it. But yeah, I wanted it in the summer to increase commerce, and it was just, I don't know. It's fun. We had a bunch of kid entrepreneurs there this last summer, which was super cool to see like the next generation of people doing all the booths, and me and my wife took a step back. It was really cool. Here's another fossil deposit that's really easy to access. This is a little bit of a walk, but these deposits have huge. There's many species of different clams and mollusks in these deposits, and you just walk down the train tracks. So if you just remember Scotia, really rich fossil deposits. That's a really fun trip if you're over in Northern California. Because in Humboldt, there's not much for minerals that are pretty. So I was always looking for different opportunities. There's some alky sulfate minerals, but most of it's on national park land. And they're just weird type locality stuff, and they're ugly. So this is one of the better things if you're in Humboldt County and you're not just some mineral nerd. I would recommend this place.
Somebody's grove.
So when we're mining, we not only have to be conscious about falling rocks, but you may run into venomous snakes. Yes. This is actually underground at the Aurora Tapadillo mud caves, but you'll find rattlesnakes. So just be conscious. You're around rocks. There's nothing to be afraid of. It just, and especially the speckled. They're small, but I guess the bite of a sidewinder is similar to that of a bee, but I don't want to try it. This is your Colorado desert sidewinder. Very beautiful, pale snake. The camouflage in the sand. I always recommend trying to get out and visit your natural history museums. This is at the LA Natural History Museum, which has amazing specimens from our county. So you'll get there. They have an incredible topaz from the Little 3 mine in Ramona. They have a whole display of stuff from Paula. Really good mine, and a really good gem. They have a whole special room for gems. So that, if you're in LA, highly recommend visiting their minerals and fossils. So I wanted to add this because it was so funny. I got pulled over with $500,000 with lapis, driving around Tucson jump show. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. I was like, am I swerving? They pulled me over with $500,000 of lapis, and I had to explain what I was doing in the middle of the night with all this lapis. Quite an awkward situation. They let me go. Our storage is 2 miles from the Kino. If anyone knows Tucson, there's the Kino Gem Show. The storage is 2 miles, so I'd have to drive all this lapis down the. That is. And Tucson's coming up. So I wanted to start a natural history museum, but I wanted to make sure that my community knew that I supported it and I loved the community that I was doing all this in. So I put in, here's the kids even, we put in a lot of work to let them know that we were serious about our community.
We did the trash day thing.
I even was in a music.
We used to talk.
I had to learn how to sing. Here's we did a ribbon cutting this summer. So if y'all are in Julian, come visit. I have a really extensive shell collection. We just recently acquired an estate, and I almost chucked this to the side, and my wife noticed. When she flipped it over, turns out these are avian fossils from the La Brea tar pit. This is one of my priceless pieces in the museum. It's not the prettiest, but it's just
I don't see it.
avian bird fossils. You can tell because they're hollow. Yeah, that's one of my favorite specimens. So here's some diamonds from Arkansas. These are all local tourmalines. Here's a gold nugget.
Is that one of the giveaways tonight?
The gold nugget.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know with what Bricks is doing. I gotta keep all my gold. Oh yeah, these are cut. These are Arkansas. Those are some of my prize specimens. Oh, so I got over gem mining and I decided to go into mining in the financial side of mining. Because gem mining, you can't get financed. You have to privately finance yourself. You can't go to the bank and say, hey, I want to go find tourmaline. They laugh at you. I tried it. You can. So that always annoyed me. So I added these 2 clips. It annoyed me because you're a serious miner. You're mining for a product. But unless it's gold or silver or platinum, you cannot get finance. But then I discovered Rick Rule, who's big into mining finance. So so I'm still in the industry, I'm just on a different part of the industry. I do mining stocks. And they're starting a bank that backs up mining, which I'm very excited, so I wanted to add that in. And I'm not getting paid for this. This bank hasn't opened yet, but they're actually gonna back all their assets with actual mines and precious metals. So that's very, very exciting, because most mines have nothing to back any of the paper up with. And what got me back started in the stock market was this beautiful metal, uranium. So 18% of our grid is based on nuclear energy, and I was really happy to get back into mining in a different way. So I've gone through the whole gambit of making cabochons, mining, dealing, and now I'm in the finance stock market side of the mining industry. So I'm still in it. I just took a whole different approach. It's a lot cleaner, you can wear nicer clothes.
And you glow a lot.
Oh, yeah, they have uranium storage facilities. You don't even have to touch it.
Ian's head is cold.
So yeah, I just wanted to talk about a little bit about that. And honestly, the ultimate treasure is my children.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that in there.
How much does it cost?
They cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you can see Julian hard cider, and this is right where we reduced the size of the museum so we could focus on our infrastructure and getting our accounts and grants and the endowments all positioned properly. But if you're ever in Julian, definitely come visit. Or just call us or email. I was volunteer of the year, so I know a few people. Oh, my buddy hunted this boar in Hawaii. So he always drops off cool stuff at the museum. He just dropped off a sauropod bone replica. Yeah, from a Polynesian boar.
I thought my friend was good.
So, yeah, so does anyone have any questions?
There's obviously a few mines up here in San Diego County. Have you ever been to one? Most of them are fenced off with the big yellow fence that are on BLM land. There's one called the Blue Lady Mine. Have you ever been up in that area, bud?
Oh, I used to live on Chihuahua Valley.
So you know what I'm talking about then.
The Blue Lady Mine.
Yeah, it's like when you're going down the road to get
I
to the
know it.
yeah.
So the college bought the Blue Lady.
Correct. Well, they don't own it per se,
It's
but
strange.
the government gives them rights to whatever, to the stuff growing on the ground, because they're doing the bio studies.
Yeah.
But have you been up there by chance?
Oh yeah.
And have you found anything that's larger than a pencil lead?
Possibly.
Awesome.
Yeah, I found a nice aqua up there when I was on there.
Okay, all right. So,
After a nice rainstorm, it just rained.
well, that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah,
rained.
no, it's right on the surface, a huge aqua. It was good, like, this beautiful pencil. It had decent saturation.
Okay.
And they have unicolite. It's really good introduction if you're allowed to hike up there, so it's a really good introduction to what lithium bearing pegmatite looks like. So if you're ever in Chihuahua Valley, Warner Springs, like it's a good place to go look at.
It's a little hump now that they put in, I've been up there before they put up the barrier. So now you gotta walk,
It's a little bit of a
walk up the
couple
hill.
100 yards or so.
Maybe more.
Yeah, quarter mile, whatever. Yeah, it's beautiful up there. Chihuahua Valley is where the Carmelita mine is that I want to buy.
Oh, okay.
That's really, I really love Chihuahua Valley, but it's really remote for bringing my kids to. I don't want them to go to Warner Springs.
Well, you could always leave them there.
I should. Yeah, I
Boy
used to live
Scout
up there.
Boy Scout camp up there.
A little while ago, I ran into these guys that, had reopened the little tree line.
Oh yeah.
And, 20 years ago, I went there and it was just, you could walk around, there was nothing there, it was just an open pit. And these guys have just pulled out some amazing specialty permits.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, you
The
should
color is exceptional.
check that out. They were at a rock show recently.
I was one of the ones that helped bid up that mine. I was definitely trying to buy it or help people buy it, but they paid more because we were calling. We were trying to buy it as well, so they paid a little bit of money for that.
I thought it was all mined out, but these
Well,
guys
you
pulled
gotta,
out so much stuff out of there.
you gotta be really careful because these scientists will do their whole degrees and stuff, and they'll say something's pinched out, and you gotta trust your instincts and be able to study the geology. Because they said the King mine was mined out, and it's not. They've proven that in the last couple of years, so you gotta trust your instinct, and it usually costs a lot of money. So
Let me ask you, do you ever do any tours or take groups, or like if you have interested persons that wanna go on like an expedition without the kid? No, the kids are fine. But, sorry. But have you thought about that with like a group from like the Mineral Gym?
yeah, if y'all want to come up, just get in contact with us. I could either tailor it with what I would do or what everyone else would want to do. Really,
And teach along the way, like showing us like some of the things that you've learned?
as long as I can chase a squirrel here and there, we'll be okay. You know?
Ground squirrels.
So,
Any other last questions?